Have you ever felt that burning urge to speak, to lash out, to defend yourself the moment someone disrespects you? That heat rising in your chest, the tightening in your jaw, the flood of thoughts screaming for retaliation? It feels urgent, doesn't it? Like if you don't react right now, you'll lose control, you'll lose face, you'll lose something vital. But what if I told you that the power you're searching for, the respect, the control, the dignity, it doesn't come from speaking back, from proving yourself, or from getting the last word? It comes from staying quiet, from holding your tongue, from choosing to rise above the immediate reaction. Imagine for a moment the calm of watching a storm from a safe distance. The winds are raging, the lightning strikes, but you are untouched. That is what silence offers you when faced with disrespect. It gives you distance. It gives you clarity. It gives you the space to breathe, to see beyond the chaos and to reclaim your power. When you stay quiet, you do something most people never learn. You refuse to surrender your inner peace. You refuse to give someone else control over your emotions, your energy, your sense of self. Silence is not weakness. It is mastery. Science shows that when you pause before reacting, your brain switches from the impulsive, emotional center to the thinking, strategic center. That fraction of a second, just a heartbeat, changes everything. It allows you to decide your response rather than being hijacked by anger, frustration, or hurt. Every time you choose quiet over chaos, you strengthen your ability to control your mind. You build a reserve of calm energy that can be directed toward the things that truly matter, your goals, your growth, your life. Reacting immediately only drains you. Staying silent empowers you. Think about the people you admire, the ones who seem untouchable in the face of insult. Do they react every time someone challenges them? Rarely. Their strength comes from restraint. Their influence comes from their ability to remain composed when everyone else is losing control. When you stay quiet, you tap into the same invisible force. You cultivate a presence that commands respect without needing to shout, a confidence that radiates without boasting, a dignity that cannot be taken away. And here's the reward that will keep you engaged. Every time you resist the urge to react, every time you hold your tongue, you are investing in yourself. You are protecting your energy, sharpening your mind, and building a reputation for calm strength. You are becoming someone who is remembered not for the battles they fought impulsively, but for the mastery they displayed when it mattered most. By the end of this video, you will understand why silence is one of the most powerful tools in your life, and you will walk away with the clarity to wield it with confidence, to transform disrespect into opportunity, and to reclaim the power that is rightfully yours. You don't have to speak to prove your worth. You don't have to react to protect your dignity. In the quiet, you discover something far greater than words could ever convey. You discover yourself, your strength, and your power. And once you see it, you will never let anyone steal it from you again. When someone disrespects you, it's easy to feel like the insult defines who you are. Like their words carry a weight that can crush your confidence. But the truth is far more liberating. Disrespect is rarely about you. It is a reflection of the other person. Their insecurities, their frustrations, their limitations, their anger, their judgment, their need to assert control over you is a mirror of their inner struggle, not a measurement of your value. Understanding this changes everything. The moment you see that their actions are about them, not you, the sting begins to fade. You no longer carry their burden, and suddenly your mind is free. This freedom is the kind that fuels power. When you stop taking disrespect personally, you reclaim your energy. Every insult that once demanded a reaction now becomes an opportunity to strengthen yourself. Psychology calls this cognitive reframing, choosing how you interpret an event rather than letting it dictate your emotions. It's a skill that the strongest people on earth use without even thinking about it. By changing your perspective, you strip the insult of its power and replace it with something far greater, control over your own emotional state. You decide what affects you and what does not. Imagine the difference it makes to face a harsh word or a dismissive glance and feel nothing but calm. Imagine carrying yourself through the day unshaken, unbothered, untouchable. That calm is magnetic. It draws attention and respect in ways that anger, argument, or retaliation never can. People are instinctively drawn to those who are not easily rattled, to those who possess the inner strength to remain steady when the world around them is chaotic. When you choose silence in response to disrespect, you are not hiding. You are elevating. You are demonstrating that no external force has the power to disturb the peace you've built inside. Every act of quiet in the face of disrespect trains your mind like a muscle. Each moment you resist the impulse to react strengthens your self-control, your patience, and your resilience. This is not passive endurance. This is active mastery. The small victories and restraint accumulate into an unshakable confidence. Every person who tries to undermine you becomes a teacher. Every insult a test, every slight a chance to sharpen your focus and reinforce your dignity. The longer you practice this, the more instinctive it becomes. Your calm presence transforms from a conscious effort into a natural state of power. And there is a deeper reward here, one that reaches beyond respect or perception. By understanding that disrespect is about the other person, you gain clarity about your own life. You stop wasting energy on judgments that do not serve you. You redirect that energy towards your growth, your goals, your purpose. You stop reacting to what is outside of your control and start creating the life you want. Silence becomes not just a shield, but a tool for transformation. The world may try to provoke you, but your peace, your focus, and your potential remain untouchable. You begin to see that every slight, every harsh word, every attempt to diminish you is a chance to rise. When you understand that disrespect is a reflection of others, staying quiet becomes an act of self-respect, courage, and vision. You are no longer a participant in someone else's chaos. You are the guardian of your own power. The strength you gain from this clarity is invisible, but it is felt everywhere. It shapes the way people see you, the opportunities that come your way, and the life you are capable of building. Disrespect loses its grip when you refuse to give it life. Your silence becomes the proof of your mastery, and your mastery becomes the doorway to everything you've been striving for. Every moment you hold your silence, you are exercising a rare kind of power, the power to master yourself. Reacting impulsively may feel satisfying in the moment, but it comes at a cost. It feeds the chaos. It drains your energy, and it hands over control to someone else. When you stay quiet, you activate a strength that cannot be seen but is profoundly felt. Neuroscience tells us that self-control is linked to increased focus, better decision-making, and greater long-term success. Every time you pause before reacting, you are training your brain to prioritize strategy over emotion, growth over gratification, and power over impulse. Emotional mastery is the difference between living a life dictated by circumstance and living a life you deliberately shape. Every insult, every slight, every act of disrespect is a test, not of your ego, but of your discipline, your patience, and your courage. By choosing silence, you refuse to let the moment dictate your reaction. You are no longer a passenger in your own life. You are the driver. Your decisions are measured, intentional, and anchored in the reality of what truly matters. The world may attempt to provoke you, but you have discovered a way to remain untouchable. This quiet strength has a magnetic quality. People notice it, even when you do not speak. Composure under pressure signals confidence, emotional intelligence, and a deep understanding of self. It communicates that you are not reactive, that you are not vulnerable to the whims of others, and that your presence is governed by purpose rather than provocation. Respect follows those who can remain calm in the storm. Influence gravitates toward those who hold their power in silence. When you master your reactions, you cultivate a presence that demands attention without demanding it. Every act of restraint builds resilience. The energy you save by not reacting becomes fuel for your growth, your vision, and your goals. Anger, frustration, and the need to defend yourself dissipate into clarity and focus. You begin to see opportunities where others see obstacles, solutions where others see conflict, and strength where others see weakness. Silence becomes a tool of creation, not passivity. The quiet mind is powerful, strategic, and unstoppable. By choosing to stay quiet, you are not giving up. You are choosing a higher level of action. And there is a profound emotional reward that comes with this practice. Every time you resist the urge to react, you feel your dignity returning. Every slight that once hurt now passes through you like water over stone. You realize that your self-worth is not dependent on validation or recognition from anyone else. You reclaim your authority over your emotions, your choices, and your life. This realization changes everything. It replaces fear with confidence, anger with clarity, and reaction with mastery. You are learning that the quiet mind sees more, understands more, and achieves more. It does not mean you ignore reality. It means you rise above the need for immediate gratification. It means you are in control of your energy, your focus, and your future. Each moment of restraint strengthens the part of you that cannot be touched by disrespect. The silent power you cultivate now will ripple through every aspect of your life, shaping your path, your reputation, and your legacy. It is invisible, but it is unbreakable. And once you feel it, you will never let anyone or anything take it from you. Silence is more than the absence of words. It is a declaration of power. When you choose not to respond to disrespect, you are sending a message far stronger than any argument or rebuttal ever could. You are telling the world that no one has the authority to disturb your peace, that your self-worth is not negotiable, and that your energy is reserved for creation, not conflict. The ability to hold your tongue in the face of provocation is a skill few master, yet it is one of the most transformative habits you can cultivate. It shifts the balance of power, not outwardly, but inwardly, giving you a command over your life that cannot be taken away. When you stay quiet, you are observing more than reacting. Your mind becomes alert to the underlying motives, the patterns, the subtle dynamics that others miss when they respond impulsively. Psychology shows that strategic observation leads to better judgment, stronger relationships, and more effective decision-making. Every insult, every slight, every attempt to provoke becomes a piece of information, a puzzle that your quiet mind can analyze without bias or haste. You gain insight into character, into intent, into the landscape of your environment. In silence, you see clearly, you understand deeply. You position yourself for advantage, not revenge. Every time you resist the urge to respond, you conserve energy, mental, emotional, and even physical. That energy is precious, and when redirected toward your growth, it fuels progress faster than any confrontation ever could. Reacting immediately expends effort, leaves residue of resentment, and creates a cycle of chaos that keeps you small. Staying silent allows you to channel focus into building the life you envision, into mastering your craft, into strengthening your mind and body. The world is full of distractions that seek to pull you into conflict, but a quiet person rises above, unshaken and unstoppable. Silence also strengthens resilience. The mind trained to withstand provocation becomes unbreakable. Every insult that passes without reaction is a small victory, reinforcing patience, self-discipline, and inner strength. Neuroscience confirms that repeated acts of restraint rewire the brain for better emotional control and long-term success. You are building a fortress within yourself, brick by brick. Every time you choose composure over confrontation, that fortress shields your energy, your peace, and your potential from the chaos that others try to impose. And there is a profound emotional reward hidden in this practice. The freedom that comes from refusing to be controlled by disrespect is intoxicating. You no longer live in reaction to the world. You live in alignment with your values and your vision. Anger loses its grip. Fear loses its voice. Every insult becomes powerless because you no longer granted life. Your dignity, your clarity, your focus, all of it becomes unassailable. You feel lighter, sharper, and more capable than ever before. Through this discipline, you discover an unseen strength that transforms the way you move through life. Your silence communicates authority. Your calm presence commands respect, and your inner control becomes your most visible asset. It is not about winning an argument. It is about winning yourself. You learn that restraint is not passive. It is active mastery. It is the quiet, steady engine of achievement, the invisible force that propels you forward while others remain entangled in drama. And once you embrace this power, you realize that nothing and no one can shake the peace you have earned. Every time you choose silence over reaction, you are reclaiming control over your life. The world constantly tests you, not because it wants to break you, but because it measures your strength. Disrespect is one of the most persistent tests, aimed at provoking an emotional response to see if you can be manipulated. When you resist, when you hold your tongue, you are showing that your inner world cannot be invaded. You are creating a space where only your values, your vision, and your choices govern the outcome. This is true freedom, the kind that no argument, no insult, no negative word can ever take away. Silence sharpens your perception. The quieter you are in the face of provocation, the more you notice. You notice the intentions behind words, the inconsistencies in behavior, the patterns of those around you. Every interaction becomes a lesson a chance to understand the world and your place within it more deeply. Psychological studies confirm that observation without reaction strengthens judgment, reduces impulsive decisions, and cultivates wisdom. The mind that pauses, analyzes, and reflects is the mind that dominates, not through force, but through clarity. By staying quiet, you are not passive. You are gaining insight that others squander by reacting. Holding your silence also preserves energy that would otherwise be wasted on conflict. Emotional energy is finite, and every unnecessary argument drains it. By choosing not to respond, you redirect that energy toward your ambitions, your focus, and your growth. Anger, resentment, and frustration consume the weak. Calm, deliberate restraint empowers the strong. The more you practice it, the more your mind becomes a reservoir of power that can be unleashed on creation, not destruction. You begin to understand that every moment spent reacting is a moment stolen from your potential. Every moment spent holding your peace is a moment invested in your future. There is an invisible strength that grows each time you resist provocation. Self-discipline becomes muscle, and the mind becomes unshakable. You are training yourself to respond with intention rather than instinct. Neuroscience proves that repeated acts of restraint rewire your brain for higher emotional intelligence, better decision-making, and long-term success. Each insult you withstand without reaction reinforces your resilience, sharpens your focus, and solidifies your authority over your own life. You are building an internal fortress that cannot be breached by negativity, and the emotional reward is profound. When you no longer give power to disrespect, you gain peace. Every slight that once hurt now slides past you like water on stone. Anger and frustration lose their grip. You feel lighter, freer, and more capable. You begin to experience life on your terms, guided by vision instead of reaction. Your calm presence commands respect without demanding it. Your inner strength communicates to the world more loudly than any argument ever could. The silent path is not about weakness or avoidance. It is about mastery, strategy, and transformation. It allows you to operate from a position of power that others rarely understand. While the world rushes to react, you rise with clarity, patience, and focus. Your energy is preserved. Your dignity is intact. Your mind is sharp. And in this quiet mastery, you realize a truth few ever see. Real strength is invisible, unstoppable, and completely untouchable. Once you claim it, no one can ever take it from you. Every time you choose to remain silent in the face of disrespect, you are making a conscious decision to protect what matters most, your mind, your energy, and your peace. Silence is not surrender. It is a statement that your power does not depend on the approval or validation of others. It is a commitment to yourself, a boundary that cannot be crossed, and a demonstration that your inner strength is unshakable. The moment you embrace this, you stop being reactive and start being intentional. Your life is no longer a series of emotional responses. It becomes a deliberate pursuit of purpose, clarity, and growth. The mind that practices silence develops a clarity that is unmatched. When others are caught in a storm of emotion, you stand apart, seeing with precision what is real and what is distraction. Disrespect loses its ability to distort your perception because you are no longer taking it personally. Psychology shows that when we detach from the ego's need to defend itself, we gain perspective, insight, and control. You begin to see people and situations for what they truly are, without the fog of anger or frustration clouding your judgment. Your decisions become sharper, your focus more profound, and your presence more commanding. Every insult you resist responding to is an investment in yourself. It strengthens self-discipline, sharpens your emotional intelligence, and reinforces resilience. Neuroscience confirms that repeated acts of restraint enhance your ability to regulate emotion, making you less vulnerable to manipulation and more capable of achieving long-term goals. Each moment of composure builds a foundation of strength that cannot be undermined by external chaos. You are training your mind to prioritize what matters over what provokes, to conserve energy for creation rather than destruction, and to rise above the noise that so often controls the weak. The reward of this practice is profound. When you no longer allow disrespect to dictate your feelings, you feel lighter, freer, and more powerful. Anger, resentment, and the need to defend yourself diminish. Peace becomes your default state. You move through the world untethered from the opinions, insults, and judgments of others. The calmness that comes from restraint is magnetic. People notice it. Respect gravitates toward it. Influence grows quietly around it. Your silence becomes a force that communicates more than words ever could, and it positions you as someone who operates from strength, wisdom, and unwavering self-control. Choosing silence also cultivates a sense of detachment that is liberating. You are no longer bound to the reactions of others. You no longer let their words or actions dictate your mood, your decisions, or your direction. This detachment is not cold or indifferent. It is freedom. Freedom to think clearly, to act intentionally, and to live according to your own principles. It allows you to respond when necessary with precision and purpose, rather than reacting impulsively to the heat of the moment. Your power is measured not in the arguments you win, but in the composure you maintain, the energy you conserve, and the clarity you gain. Through silence, you discover that control is not about dominating others. It's about mastering yourself. You realize that the most profound victories are internal,